Hello everyone and welcome to another Muffin video. Before we dive in here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and notification bell and drop a like on the video too if you're enjoying the content. Don't forget to join our Discord server as well if you're not already there. The link is in the description down below. We've also activated our channel membership, which comes with all kinds of perks, so check that out if you're interested in joining. And speaking of channel membership, I want to take a brief moment to give a special shout out to our current members. So thanks to all of you, and I hope you're enjoying the benefits. And finally, a reminder that all comments on every single video will be automatically entered into our weekly giveaways. Winners will be randomly selected and announced every Monday, so good luck and let's get started. Now, here we are on what seems like a somewhat familiar topic. The video title and thumbnail should give you a clue that we are going to be talking about gear, and specifically the 222 concept. Now, I will say that this will be the last video I make about the 222 gear possibility for reasons I will explain as we get through the content in this video. So, first off, let's take a look at why we're talking about this today. For those who haven't seen any of my previous videos, there is a min-maxing opportunity when it comes to gear that actually, in some cases, is better to run split gear sets instead of a single 6 out of 6 gear set. So in the past, we've seen this, for example, with running 2-piece energy, which was the power set, with 4-piece icicle. Then there was a potential with running 4-piece terror with 2-piece icicle. There was a short window where running 2-piece power with 2-piece icicle and 2-piece terror seemed viable, but in the end this was quickly surpassed by the additional stats of getting higher gear than power. And now we find ourselves in another situation, which is a 222 that's actually remaining viable for more long term. So if you're in one of the older servers, specifically server 1, 2, 3, etc., you will have already unlocked the latest tier of gear, which is going to be Blackrock, the Blackrock gear set. Now, if you quickly go look in the camp, you're going to notice that this is actually one of the first, or rather the first gear set that has a full 6 set legendary. All the previous, you can see here, power was only 2, icicle was only 3, terror was only 3, and finally we have deep rock, which is 6. Now, even with that said, when we're starting off, we're actually still going to run a 222 setup here, and let me explain why and which pieces are best. So the best split here is going to be your deep rock blade, and we're going to look at the effects in a second, plus deep rock greaves, the pants, and then you'll keep your terror heart, your chest piece of terror, and your helm of terror. And finally, you're going to run your legendary ice shard boots and a non-legendary icicle bracer. Now, right away, if you're one of many people who have already trashed their icicle breaker, then worry not, because if you are one of those people, then you're going to find yourself having to not run pants plus weapon, but instead weapon plus gloves of Blackrock and the pants and boots of Icicle, but you will be missing out on significant stats, which I'll explain now. So the Blackrock set is fundamentally a very, very powerful set, and if you look at the legendary effect here of the weapon, let's start with the weapon. So after dealing damage, there is a 5.4% chance to deal 5,500% of attack as damage to all enemies in front, so it's an AoE, plus you gain 1 stack of Dark Flame. Each stack increases your skill damage by 2% up to 30 stacks. That's pretty crazy. So every single damage you deal, whether it's basic, passive, tactical, core, has a 5% chance to give you a stack of Dark Flame. And 30 stacks means 60% skill damage. That is a lot. And even if you are relatively low tier with this weapon, it's still going to be way better than a very high tier Terror Blade. So like you see here, I had a T18 Terror Blade. I swapped that to a T6. I swapped it when my Deep Rock Blade was T6, and I saw a significant damage increase. Significant. Over a G. So it's really, really significant. And with this effect in mind, we now talk about why we're talking about pants and not the gloves, because a lot of people will default to be like, oh well, you know, of course gloves is better, it's going to be higher attack and etc. But the reason we're talking pants is because of the additional legendary effect here, which is every 20 seconds in battle gain 1 stack of Dark Flame. Now on its own, that's like, okay, well, we get a 5% chance to get a stack every time we deal damage, so this is a very small increase. However, let's look at the second part. Increase your defense by 0.5% and attack by 1% up to 30 stacks. Now hold on. This means all of a sudden, we're not just getting 60% skill damage, we're also getting 30% attack and 15% defense on top of that. So this is actually going to be a good set to run for tanks, because look at this, you're getting defense by 15%, great for tanks, attack by 30%, great for healers, and DPS get both skill damage and 30% attack. Holy moly, that's significant. That's why instead of running the quote-unquote obvious that most people would jump to, which is weapon plus gloves of Deep Rock and then pants and boots of Icicle, because oh, they're both legendary, surely you keep both and just swap the non-legendary gloves to Deep Rock and use the weapon and etc. That's the seemingly obvious choice, but in reality, this Greaves giving you an extra 30% attack is a significant increase. Now, when we talk about why this is the end of 222, the reason is because, as I've explained now, this is going to be the first set where we actually have all 6 legendary pieces here. Now, outside of the weapon and the Greaves, the others have some pretty good effects. Like look at this one, for example, Deep Rock Bracer. Every 10 seconds trigger Crimson Mark on an enemy, dealing 500% of attack as damage to the surrounding area. A nice little bonus as well. Look at the boots. The stack limit of Dark Flame is increased by 10. Do you know what this means? It's absolutely crazy. This means instead of having 60% skill damage and 30% attack, we're going to have 80% skill damage and 40% attack. That's huge. And we have an additional effect to reduce AoE damage taken. So you can see, when I say this is the end of 222, it's because Deep Rock and the future sets have crazy effects. And look at the 6-piece as well here. Dealing crit damage or providing crit heal increases your mastery by 15% for 4 seconds. This is huge! 15% more mastery. Mastery is final damage, and this is percentage stats, so it's not subject to diminishing returns or any cap. So because of how often you will be critting and dealing crit damage, and same for crit healing if you have the correct stats, this will practically play out as a permanent mastery increase of 15% while in combat. This is insanely good. So anyway, right now, the reason why we're running 222 instead of full 6-piece is purely practical. And when you look at the rift, you'll see here the currently unlocked only has weapon crystals for weapon and pants. Then our next year, we're going to have weapon, pants, and boots. The next year, we're going to have weapon, helm, chest, gloves, pants, and boots. So once we reach level 100 and can start getting crystals for all the gear, all 6 pieces, this is when we're going to start running 6 out of 6 Blackrock, and at this point, at CC2 level 100, this is officially the end of 222. From this point on, and for all future sets, you will no longer run 222. It will no longer be viable for a damage increase. You will only run 6-piece full legendaries of the most up-to-date set. So there you have it. Hopefully you've made the right choice with your gearing and you're able to run the 2-piece, the 3x 2-piece I've suggested here. Again, it's going to be Blackrock weapon and pants, Terror helm and chest, Icicle gloves and boots. That is going to be the optimal DPS setup. And for tanks and healers, you're also going to benefit from the Deep Rock Greaves, which, as you can see here, gives a big attack percentage and defense percentage increase from getting these additional stacks of Dark Flame. So there you have it. So long to the 222 meta, and look forward to a full 6-piece meta starting once we reach Class Change 2 level 100, which is going to be relatively soon. So Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something new. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.